Good morning, afternoon, evening to some, wherever you may be in the world. Welcome to Identiv's webinar on digital transformation in medical and healthcare with IoT. Today's presenters are Lauren Miller, Identiv's Director of Business Development, and Stefan Gedsner, our Director of Sales for RFID and Transponder Solutions. Lauren and Stefan will begin today with a quick overview of Identiv, and then dive into how RFID solutions are bridging the physical and digital for hospitals and healthcare systems, medical device manufacturing, and smart packaging. We'll also go over the pharmaceutical cloud solutions that are available with our new product, Bitsy.io. And then we'll finish with a Q&A session where we can answer any questions you might have. Throughout the presentation, you will all be on mute. So if you have questions, please put them into the Q&A panel and we will address them at the end. And with that, I will hand it over to Lauren.
Thank you. Yeah, I will start. It's me, Stefan. But thank you very much. Thank you, Ryan, and warm welcome from my side, everybody. My name is Stefan, and I will start here in the webinar by giving you a short introduction to our company's IoT competencies and what we can offer in order to support you in healthcare, medical industry, both on technology and expertise. So in general, I can say that Identiv is probably the best point of contact when someone considers to evaluate RFID technology for their product and maybe needs some consultancy or just a helping hand. So we are, in general, a US headquartered company. We have a strong global footprint, and we are very well connected with all kinds of suppliers, integrators, consortia, and standardization organizations around IoT. So we have a great portfolio within the area of physical and digital security, and within our IoT department, we are also providing custom and off-the-shelf design and manufacturing solutions all around RFID transponders, hardware, and partly also software, as you will see later. With this background, we are already supporting a lot of global projects from prototype level up to really big scale productions. And our strength, which I would like to highlight here, are flexibility and high quality. And everyone can assure we accompany our customers as external team members in bringing their ideas to success. So this is really our passion, and you can rely on our work here. Our IoT technology range is really wide, as you can see at the slide here. So we provide active and passive inlay solutions on frequencies from low frequency, high frequency to smartphone usable NFC, up to long range UHF RFID, and meanwhile also Bluetooth Low Energy tags. Yeah, in some cases, we even combine these tags. So we have, for example, NFC and UHF combined tags. And what is also nice, we are working independent from any suppliers. So we are flexible in terms of any materials or components which shall be used in a project. So besides commodity solutions, we support also the production of very complex multi-component designs, for example, circuits where external sensors are used, for example, and this is all in order to create real specialty products. We have, in general, great partnerships for further converting, for printing, so our inlays can be supplied in any kind of shape and form. And we also have a really great team when it comes to pre-encoding of tags for any purpose. We are strongly connected with other industry leaders throughout various organizations, as you can see here on the slide. So, for example, NFC Forum or the UnitVis ID for healthcare applications, also the GS1 and many others. And with these groups, we are in constant exchange and engagement to bring really the next generation of IoT technology to meaningful applications. And this is done in various different verticals. So looking at this portfolio, maybe I will hand over a little bit to Lauren, my colleague. How do you see Identiv? We as a leader in IoT have a strong contribution to the digital transformation. So how would you see it from your view, from your perspective?
Yeah, thanks, Stefan, for the intro there. And that's the theme for today: digital transformation in healthcare. And there's really 4 pillars attached to a digital transformation strategy: big data, AI, cloud computing, and the IoT. And the Identiv product and service line is contributing in all these areas to a digital transformation. Specifically here, we'll spend more time with the IoT transponders and edge devices via the use of low-cost passive transponders at the item level, and cloud computing with Bitsy for consumer engagement, data aggregation, and analytics. Ultimately, why is this important? It's about solving problems for businesses through specific use cases and needs, and then building that overall technology strategy to provide a competitive and sustainable advantage.
Great.
We can move on to the next slide.
Okay, I will take over again. Thank you, Lauren. Yeah, let's move a little bit closer to the digitalization topic in general. The quick question here is, how can we bridge the gap between physical and digital world? And using RFID or other IoT tags and technologies just means to communicate with objects without requiring any line of sight. So this way we can increase the efficiency by automation, by freeing up staff. We can automatically monitor status and events from distance, or for easy automation, automatic tracking purposes. So also next, we can reduce a vast amount of potential errors, of course, caused by manual processes. Of course, we are just humans, and maybe, or maybe most important, it's all improving patient safety. So let's go to the next slide to see how RFID systems actually work. So for those who are not so familiar with RFID, let's take a quick look at how it works. It all starts more or less with a small antenna, like the one which you see on the left of the slide, and a very tiny chip which is mounted on it. So in this case, we normally already talk about a tag or a transponder because this setup already works in an RFID system. Of course, later on, there are some additional steps to protect the antenna, but that's where we come to later. So depending on the use case which you have for the application, we in the first step need to select the right antenna with the right RFID frequency. So we have normally low frequency, high frequency, HF or smartphone NFC. We have UHF for long range applications, and maybe a tag which is needed also needs to be a little bit more smart and needs a sensor on it, or it's an authentication check algorithm, for example, or a function for locating where it is spread out. So for all of these technologies, we have different advantages, and together with the customer, we normally try to find out what suits best for the application or the purpose which is targeted. So the tag which we have now is then attached to an object that you want to communicate with. Yeah. And a program like our Bitsy.io, which I will introduce later a little bit more in detail, will also help you to link the tag's ID with the actual object in the database or the application. So this way, we just create more or less a digital twin in the digital world. Then, of course, you need also the reader for the whole system to work. Here we normally work with handheld readers or the smartphone, which is a reader itself. And you just need a device which is able to do electromagnetic coupling, and it triggers more or less to send back some data from the tag. And when it does, this is already the whole magic. So you can read out the tag like it's intended to be. And combined with the right software or app on your smartphone or the middleware interfacing with an ERP system, you already have the whole working RFID system which you need. Lauren, let me ask you again how you see the interaction between physical objects and as a key technology to enable digital transformation. What is your judgment on that? Maybe you can also give your input here.
Yeah, looking at this, RFID can be deployed in a variety of ways. Ultimately, it's not about collecting data or adding data to a system, but utilizing this technology to drive tangible benefits like improved patient safety. So this digital twin with RFID, we can easily share business data like shipping records and manifests, authenticate unique product information, and then transmit it securely through standard-based protocols and communication platforms to create these solutions. Let's look at the next slide for an example.
Yeah, thank you, Lauren. Here, this example, which we want to show here, is really a highlight, and it shows our super tiny copper inlays, which we have. So we are here down at the size of 6 millimeters in diameter, or 6 by 6 as a square tag. And you can attach them nearly on every small object which there is. It's possible even to do it waterproof or gamma radiation proof if required. And the nice thing about this is it's even readable with any smartphone, so anyone can do it. So besides smartphone, of course, also designated desktop devices are possible to read it. And it's a really nice technology for products like syringes, cartridges, test tubes, for example, which we have a lot in medical and pharma industry, of course. And here with this, we can easily create digital twins just with a small inlay or sticker. And then we can already identify these objects, track them, or store additional data on them. Okay, then let's move to the next slide. Here, I just want to summarize a little bit the advantages of using RFID before going into depth regarding healthcare and medical application. So reading without a line of sight provides, of course, the possibility to attach an identifier label inside of a product or other special places. We have reading possibilities for short range, for example, to prevent certain text to be read out from far away, and other ones for long distance reading, of course. This is mainly to enable track and tracing applications. The reading events are either done autonomously when texts come into the read range of a reader, or they are scheduled in periodic reads. For example, that's what you need for temperature logging in a data logger solution. RFID text can, of course, easily be hidden inside a product or behind existing labels, and the unique identifier on the chip of a tag is hard-coded. So it cannot be modified anymore. We have the possibility to add even stronger security features, of course, keys and cryptographic algorithms to support the whole authenticity and integrity check of products. That's also what's possible. The memory inside a chip can be small, it can be quite big. We have the full flexibility on how to use it. So here, different suppliers are providing a big range of different products which we can make use of. So we can store just the URL on it, we can store a serial number on it, we can store any sensor data or even configuration on it. The possibilities are huge, and they offer space for many special features and applications. And now, of course, in this webinar, we want to take a closer look towards the healthcare and medical industry. And that's where I hand over to Lauren again to start with the first use case here.
Thank you, Stefan. So our first subtopic today is for hospitals and healthcare systems. This would include inpatient and outpatient clinics, care facilities, and medical offices. Next slide, please. Okay, so when you look at this slide, you can see just how much content there is to be covered, and we won't be able to get into all of it today with examples. For now, I want to focus on the right column here with RFID as an enabler of sustainability. So last week I was at the RAIN RFID Alliance meetings where this specific topic is at the forefront. There are ongoing sustainability work groups and initiatives at these organizations like GS1, which is a global standards organization, to continue innovation in this area. When you look at US healthcare expenditures, in 2009, it was $860 billion. In 2022, it was 3.4 trillion. So in a little more than a decade, the expenditures went up by a factor of 4. The Institute of Medicine and the National Coalition of Healthcare reported that 20 to 30% of all direct healthcare outlays were a result of poor quality care consisting primarily of overuse, underuse, and waste. So if you limit the capabilities of our RFID just to an inventory management tool, the benefits of the healthcare system and better forecasting, ordering, and material use significantly reduces this product waste, packaging, transport, and the overall carbon footprint of the organization. Then if you look at utilizing an eco-friendly paper-based inlay like the Identigen dipole, you're further reducing your carbon footprint and making measurable steps in reaching your company's sustainability goals. Next slide, please. So when you look at healthcare expenditures, one of the most obvious areas that can be solved with RFID is through the movement of supplies and consumables. This can be done with inventory cycle counts in the hospital storage rooms by use of RFID-enabled and secured inventory cabinets and refrigerators. Also, these benefits can extend from the source of manufacturing through distribution and the wholesalers to help with receiving and transferring goods per the FDA and other regulatory requirements. and reporting these ownership changes via packaging level identifiers that include the SG10, serial number, expiration, lot, and manufacturing date. This data can then be used within the overall inventory management program to reduce cost and waste and ensure the availability of supplies and administer medication before it reaches expiration. Next slide, please. So within a healthcare facility, it's also necessary to secure access to storerooms, staff areas, cabinets, and other areas. We can monitor the movement of patients and staff within a facility to understand utilization and dwell times, along with timestamps via the use of wristbands or patient files. We can monitor hand washing hygiene and compliance via reader stations and staff badges. Ultimately, it's about protecting the patients and providing the best quality of care. Next slide, please. So beyond the consumable side, there's also a need for a hospital to know the location of the durable assets like carts and beds. And depending on the deployment needs, this can be done with active or passive RFID. Of course, with the passive transponders, the benefit is that they do not require any battery replacements and can effectively live on the asset for its lifespan. Here you can see tags that are designed to perform on liquids like blood bags, on metal surfaces, and even curved metal surfaces. Next slide. So naturally, a key component of care delivery and patient safety is through the administration of medicine and the use of medical devices. That's what we'll talk about next. All right, a little background on UDI. The FDA implemented the unique device identification system to identify medical devices sold in the United States from manufacturing through distribution to patient use. At a minimum, this would include a UDI barcode. The UDI data attributes include over 400 pieces of data per device and have high maintenance requirements. The product may be sold globally, and different regional and national UDI requirements make this complex to manage. For example, any changes to brand names, color coding, risk classes, or many of these other attributes. So what is the impact for healthcare with UDI? At the government level, it's for product safety and identifying imports. For regulators, product recall, registration, safety, and counterfeiting. For customs, it's for tariff enforcement and also this counterfeiting. And then healthcare providers, cost and quality of outcomes, product utilization, and then the supply chain efficiency. And clinicians, point of care tracking, potential substitutes, and then also for research and development. UDI may even become a payer reimbursement requirement in the future. So what does this all mean? RFID as a secondary data carrier to the barcode adds a digital layer to these medical devices that achieve better outcomes in all these areas. Due to the amount of data required to be associated with each device, high memory tags may be necessary for such devices. And then when you consider the HF is needed in operating rooms due to possible interference from RAIN UHF systems, these standard high memory HF tags are a natural fit. And these can be designed for plastics and metals or embedded into the devices. Next slide, please. Here we have a nice example of a tag that demonstrates a number of possible use cases and capabilities combined into one tag footprint. You have a multi-chip inlay with HF and UHF, along with a tamper or conductive tail. This means that you can not only take inventory easily and tackle the logistics of the device, you could also validate when it's been attached to a primary device, if this was on a cartridge or container, for example, and then also monitor if a seal had been broken or the fill level of the contents inside the device or packaging. As Stefan mentioned earlier, Identiv offers different tag and chip options to tackle challenges like these, sterilization, cold storage, and so on, which Stefan will talk more about. Okay, so as part of existing regulations that I've mentioned, products must be traceable at the lot level. A second phase of requirements will go into effect in November of this year that allows for the interoperable electronic tracing of products at the package level via the FDA and the DSCSA 2023, or the Drug Supply Chain Security Act. These new requirements target the exchange, verification, and tracing of products at the packaging level. When we consider tracing at this level, the appeal of RFID as an automation and aggregation tool to supplement the traditional barcode becomes even more appealing. Stefan, let's talk a little bit more about that now.
Yeah, thank you for your previous words on packaging. I will continue with this packaging topic because it's really strongly contributing to the whole potential of digital transformation in medical and healthcare industry. So here in this chapter, we will find out how RFID and IoT tags can increase patient safety and also medication safety, of course, just by making the therapy adherence easier. And also I will go again into a little bit more detail regarding temper detection, which Lauren already mentioned in the previous slides, and also sensing will play a little bit bigger role. So on the next slide, we can have a look at medication and dosage examples. So by tagging pill bottles, vials, pens, syringes, with any kind of tags, we can really generate excellent patient compliance monitoring solution. So maybe as an example, most people in the US above the age of 50, they are taking like 2 to 3 medications. So it's very difficult for them to remember the doses of these medications and their names because these names tend to be quite complex. So it is a known fact that a huge number of people, they are non-adherent with the medications, which means they do not take the medication the way they're supposed to. And for various reasons, of course, this can happen. It's their busy lives or any other thing that are recurring. But having smart packaging, this is allowing us to like read prescriptions, to send a reminder when to take medications, or to simply track the overall adhesive, overall adherence with a small tap on the smartphone simply. So we have here technologies who are really able to support any kind of people at any kind of age in order to increase their whole therapy quality. On the next slide, let's go a little bit deeper on the tamper detection. So this is another very useful way to add additional safety to a product on packaging level. So a tamper event in general happens when someone actually interferes with an item, or so it's causing some damage, or it makes some unauthorized changes. So that's all what we are meaning when talking about tamper. So we are able to detect tamper events on the one side on a conductive way. So like when a conductive trace is damaged, like we have here in the picture, a blister example. Every time a pill is used, for example, one trace will be damaged, and this information is then stored on the chip and cannot be changed anymore. So here you can really track how many pills have been taken. Other possibility is to have like a seal, which we saw on the label example from Lauren before. So like the seal covering the opening of a pill bottle. And in order to open the bottle, you need to break the seal. And this will also immediately result in a tamper event, which is stored forever on the chip. And you can always, when reading out this tag, see if someone opened the bottle before. Beside the conductive way, tamper events can also be measured in a conductive way. And this is happening just by measuring like temperature or fill level. So this is what we see on the next slide. Here we see with syringes, we are using capacitive measurement. This way we can also guarantee the integrity of a product. Just imagine an injector or another pen being able to directly exchange data with the just inserted syringe. So it can automatically check if it's original, and if it can also automatically configure based on the medication inside of the syringe. And it can also use, of course, sensors to reach the right temperature before shooting the next dose. So these are really wonderful new options to increase patient well-being and to decrease the overall handling mistakes. And these tampers mean to have a change in fill level or to have a change in temperature. They can also be detected if you like. So besides syringes, the fill level sensor can also be, of course, applied to any other bottle. So instead of checking manually the fill level by opening every bottle which you need to refill or you just need to tap it, for example, and the push notification on your smartphone can tell you, hey, this one you need to refill, this one not. Good. On the next slide, we have the last example for smart packaging, and this is all about environmental sensing. So this means that it's not only of interest to monitor what's inside of the packaging, but also a little bit what's outside. And temperature logging, for example, is the most obvious use case for this, which requires, of course, ongoing measurement during medical deliveries, for example. And this way you can guarantee that the medication was never facing a certain maximum or minimum temperature from outside. And yeah, reason is just because this could cause, of course, a negative impact on the deliverable. Also, other properties than temperature can be measured. Here we have as example humidity, moisture, strain, pressure. So we can even check if any other sensor in the market can be combined with our IoT solutions in order to check those environmental sensing changes. Yeah, this is possible on active way as well. So this means with a battery inside, we can also realize temperature loggers over time. And also this is really exciting technology from our side. Next one, I would like to show you a little bit of what Identiv can offer from the software side. So here, when talking about pharmaceutical experiences, we also need to consider that we need to link the tags which are used to a certain kind of data in a database. So our solution here is called Bits.io, and this is the name for our IoT platform, which helps you to link the tags with your actual application. So if you look at your RFID, NFC, or BLE system, you want to know how to manage all the data which you are using there. And with the Bits.io cloud solution, you can find an easy way to get started, but also to efficiently work on high scale with all of these data, and just to summarize it in a really great way on your screen on a dashboard. So besides just referencing from one tag to a cloud-based application, it's also supporting RFID typical features like tracking and tracing, inventory counting, checking authenticity, and preventing counterfeit. We also have gray market control implemented here. So a lot of applications which are possible to realize with RFID. So connecting tags with your own apps or the system just realizes really thousands of wonderful applications. And of course, especially on medical and pharmaceutical level, here are a lot of use cases which are possible. This means overall an increase of efficiency, of course, thanks to the tracking and tracing of instruments, pharmaceuticals, or similar. And automatic checks of inventory, it's also possible. Yeah. Everything which you can imagine. It's also providing, as I mentioned, a really compact way of analytics view, showing you locations, tab counts, tab authentication results, or similar in a dashboard view. And yeah, all in all, it's really bringing you improvements to the industry, but also to the end users. And that's what we also target with this software, with this software platform. Yeah, this is more or less the overview from my side. And now let's move on with a small summary, handing over to Lauren.
Yeah, thank you, Stefan. So we have those responsible for providing the hospitals, the CFOs, wholesalers, manufacturers, shippers, doctors, nurses, the staff, and so on. And then those that are receiving the treatment, the patients and the patient family and friends. So for the caregivers, RFID, it's a unique problem solver because it can be deployed at scale with low-cost tags, and the capabilities of the tags can solve a variety of problems for stakeholders across the healthcare value chain. Ultimately, RFID is already and is going to be an essential tool for most organizations to solve their supply chain and care administration goals. And then also with the use of NFC, we're also able to interact directly with the patients and provide them with medication instructions and allow them a more feedback-oriented delivery. So on the next slide, we'll outline how we would partner to achieve those goals. And we'll also take some Q&A, I believe.
Yeah, okay. So looks like we have some questions here. First one, what do you see as the next steps for continued adoption in the space?
Okay, Stefan, I can take this one.
Okay.
Partly it's going to be moving more of the tagging to the source. So at the manufacturing and packaging level, this will really drive that value throughout the system and enable at the hospital level to focus on the use of these materials, managing the inventory, and then really delivering that patient experience and the best patient outcomes. Also helps with the staff working environment, the experience of the patient and their family at the hospital, and just improves that overall outcome. The other is going to be on enabling and educating program leaders within this space where they're making these products, just to educate them on how the technology works, how they can roll these programs out at scale, and then also work within our partnerships to deliver the solution that they need. And that's kind of a little bit of what we're outlining on this slide, is how we go about understanding the best way to approach these specific problems and use cases.
Okay, great. Next question. Are your tags waterproof, resistant against different cleansers and different types of sterilization?
I can take this if you like. So when talking about properties like waterproofness or resistance, this is mainly a big topic for the converting of a tag. So depending on how you sandwich an inlay between additional layers that are protecting a tag, you of course can make a tag waterproof and also resistant against any other liquids or materials which there are, also against environmental impacts. So if it's really hard, you can also consider to convert it to a hard tag, for example. So then in case of any really harsh environment, even this tag survives in this area. But there are all of these solutions, waterproof solutions, cleanser safe solutions, or even, as I mentioned during the presentation, gamma radiation proof chips. So there are many solutions which are already targeting applications in the healthcare and medical environment, and they can be used. So we can just make use of our big expertise in this area and provide good solutions for that. Thank you for the question. That was really a good one.
Great. Okay, next question. How can I guarantee the interoperability of medical device with an RFID system?
Let me also take this because this is really targeting a topic where I can also refer to my work in the NFC Forum consortium. So when talking about RFID, we can really strongly rely on standards which are in the market regarding communication between a device and an RFID tag, for example. On NFC side, we have defined certifications for like 5 different types of tags, for example, and they provide different communication speeds, capabilities in terms of configurability, memory security, things like that. So there are those standards in the market, not only for NFC, also for UHF technology, also for Bluetooth Low Energy, of course, meanwhile. And using this standard, I think interoperability is never an issue. So there is nothing like a proprietary system required for this. Of course, if someone wants to have an own system established or developed, this is also possible. But if we all rely on the same standards, we can also generate really an open source possibility, so everyone can make use of the same technology and we can share this experience. I hope this answers the question.
Yes. Okay, we've got some more questions here. If we have Zigbee protocol in a hotel room, is it possible to connect your device through Zigbee?
Okay, this will depend on which kind of device you would like to replace it with. So, of course, if you're right now working with Zigbee, you can add features there, but you can also move to a completely different protocol or type. So also do Bluetooth mesh networks, so that's also possible. So, but it would be a replacement. It would definitely be necessary also to check on the ROI if this replacement is necessary. We would need to figure out where the advantages for you are and if the benefits are bigger if we move to a new system or if we stick to the existing ones. So here, I think a lot of analysis and discussion is necessary in advance. But in general, it is possible, of course, to replace an existing system with one from Identiv based on any IoT technology which we provide in our portfolio.
Okay, great. Next question. How can you use electronic tags with gamma radiation?
Stefan, you talked about that a little bit already. We can follow up in more detail. It's based on the chip and the substrate and the material selection on that.
Right. I mean, quickly said, this is all about choosing the right chip. So these special chips, they have an FRAM memory, which is not more or less mixed up when facing gamma radiation. But this is a very detailed topic, but there is the possibility to use these chips, and they're really great for these applications in sterilization environment.
Okay, great. Okay, next question. We got a lot of questions here. Concerning the medication applications, does Identiv provide the tag or the complete solution?
Stefan, I think this is oriented towards your packaging part, I think.
So from Identiv side, we are providing the technology and not the whole system. We can support with our expertise any kind of information on which other devices or infrastructure can be recommended to add to a product. But the core of our business are the IoT transponders, are the tags. That's where we're coming from. We can support a little bit, as you saw, with software, but for looking at the whole system, we definitely need other partners or experience of the OEM company.
Okay, great. On to the next one here. Is there a reader plus one antenna that can read HF and UHF at the same time?
Stefan, you want to take that one?
Yeah, do I understand right? To have a reader that can read HF and UHF at the same time. So in this case, of course, I think in my knowledge, I don't know any reader that can do this, but it's also, of course, a matter of setup. I think you can definitely combine like a smartphone with an additional device, which is able to read UHF. And then, of course, you can access on the HF and on the UHF side the same tag, depending on the application. I think this is definitely possible to realize. Regarding a handheld solution, I don't know if there's something in the market for this. Do you have an idea, Lauren? Did you see something like that before?
No, like you mentioned, it's really more based on if you want to utilize the benefits of both, where are you implementing those readers and at what point are you reading the tags? I mean, you could easily design a system that incorporates both, but when you look at power utilization and different requirements, Generally, you would be selecting a technology based on that use case, and then implementing your reading at those, whatever the best practice would be, or where you need to identify those items.
Okay, great. Do you follow and build to the AAMI FDA cybersecurity standards?
Lauren, do you want to take over that?
I would need to follow up on this one separately. We can certainly, we're going to record all these questions. We've got quite a few, and we can follow up on this after the call directly on some of these questions.
Okay. Next one, is there an inlay already developed for oil products?
Depending on what is needed, for fill level of oil products, or is it will depend on which product exactly is needed. But if it's about products that contain oil for fill level measurement or anything like that, it should definitely be possible. But yeah, I don't know what exactly you mean with oil products. Maybe we can go a little bit in detail on that.
Yeah, I think we can follow up with them after this and get a little more information so we can make sure to answer that question fully. Okay, next question. Do you use Fujitsu tags?
Okay, this is targeting now again the gamma radiation topic. So this is what Fujitsu chips are famous for. So yes, we can also use these.
Okay, and it looks like that completes the question. If anyone has any other questions, please put them in the panel now. We'll give you another minute there to do so. And on this slide, you'll see just kind of some next steps and what Lauren and Stefan can help you with. So, feel free to reach out, email, call, if you need a consultation to discuss a project, if you need product samples, if you need to discuss customization, or if you need encoding support, system support, or connections to our network of partners, don't hesitate to reach out. Look, I'm not seeing anything else come in, so I think that will conclude our session today. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you all too.
Thank you.